Hello everyone. As you all know that every language has four basic skills, core skills: reading, writing, speaking and listening. So today we'll be discussing one of the very important skill of a language, that is speaking. It's very important that if you have a mastery over any language, you must know how to speak in that language. So, in continuation to that, how we can speak and what are the things which we need to learn for speaking. One of the important aspect of speaking is speech. So, what is speaking basically? So, basically, speaking means when you are able to express your thoughts into words, that is speaking. When you are able to articulate your feelings, when you are able to tell to others what you are exactly feeling, how you are feeling about something. You want to express your opinions, you want to express your ideas, you want to express your point of view on any topic or issues which is going on around. When you want to address people, when you want to address some current issue, for all this purpose, you need to know how to speak in that particular language in which you want to express yourself. So, one of the important aspect of it is addressing people, how you are going to address the people. There are different forms of speaking. We are talking about the formal speaking. So, it is like speech, debate, discussions. And today we will be discussing about speech. Speech. So, speech is the ability to represent your thoughts through articulating it with proper expression in front of a set of audience. When you are able to express what you are feeling about something, when you are able to articulate, when you are able to talk uh, with other person about what you are feeling, when you are able to share your feelings, when you are able to raise your voice for something in front of your the particular set of audience who have the common interest, that means you are delivering a speech. Let's see what are the different types of speeches are. So speeches are basically of four types. They are manuscript speech, memorized speech, impromptu speech, and extemporaneous speech. Manuscript speeches are those kind of speeches where the script or the speech is already scripted. It's written beforehand, well in advance, and it is prepared very carefully what you want to say, and that is how this speech is prepared. Suppose if the um, prime minister want to give some speech, or the presidential speech is always manuscripted. Memorized speech is something when it is written and then the person who is going to give that speech has memorized the things. That is memorized speech. Impromptu speech is where the prompter are there and they can see and read the speech. That is impromptu speech. The best example of it is the when the president of America, USA, gives speeches. They have this impromptu speech. They have their prompter in front of them, and while seeing them, they are giving the speeches or doing the debates. Extemporaneous speeches are the speeches which are very spontaneous, on the spot. If you want to give your thoughts, if you want to talk about some topic um, for which you have not been well prepared in advance, that is extemporaneous speech. So these are the four types of speech. Oh, so by reading or knowing all these things, do you think that we need to give some lectures? Does speech means lectures? No. Speech doesn't mean You have to see something and read it out, or you have to keep on talking about so many for very long period of time. Generally, when we heard the word speech, we feel like someone is going to give a lecture for hours. But that is not speech. And if that you are going to do, or if that is your practice, you will fail miserably, which is not good. So why their speeches is not so effective? In the previous slide, you have seen the pictures. People are not happy. So because they are not sticked with the audience. If you want to make your speech effective, you have to stick with the audience. You need to understand what their taste is. You have to elicit a positive response and make an impact. Why you are giving the speech? Involve your audience in your speech. Don't be monotonous. There should not be a monologue. There should be a dialogue. In the speech, there should be a dialogue. There should be a conversation. There should be interaction. And then only you will be able to elicit some positive responses which will make your speech very impactful. You have to keep your audience engaged and interested. And how will you do this? For that, you have to know your audience well in advance. What age group they belong to, what are their interests, what could be the common interest of them, what is the common topic which is discussed in the present time, and accordingly choose your. So then you will be able to connect to your audience. So you have to connect, and for that, how will you start? So here there are few tips through which you can start your speech. Take a relevant issue as per the audience. If you are going to an uh, if you are going to a school where the school is a primary school and the children are very little or small, if they are of class 1 or 2, they won't listen to your long speeches. So if you are going to tell something to them, if you want to do something with that, then your speech must have some kind of playway activities. Okay, if you are going to give a lecture in, suppose in an engineering college, then your speech must be according to their need. Suppose maybe for example, you can take the example of employment or how to give interviews. So you have to prepare, build up points on which you want to focus. Don't don't just keep saying the things which are needless or useless. Long speeches doesn't mean that you are a very good speaker. You may speak for a few minutes, but that has to have an impact. And for that, you have to build up your points on which you want to really focus on. Stick with the core idea. Just you must have a central idea about your speech and stick to that only. Collect as many information as you can about your topic. You have to be an intensive reader before giving a speech, and then only you will be able to collect as many information as you can, and then you will be able to put forward a very good speech. Give examples from the real life situations of the audience. That is also very important. Without giving examples, your audience will not be able to connect, will not be able to share the same or feel the same experience which you are feeling or you are sharing. So for that, you have to give examples which really closest to their mind and heart, and which they are feeling and experiencing too in their life, and then only they will be able to connect. Give your speech as you are making a conversation. As I have already said you, it should be a dialogue, it should not be a monologue. Try to involve your audience in the speech. That's very important. Take some answers from them, give some questions to them, involve them. That is very important. Make them alive. Make make them think that you are talking for them. You are with them. And then you will be able to realize the energy, you will be able to feel the energy from the audience, and you will be a good speaker. So how to prepare the effective speech? How you can prepare? So there are various ways of preparing your speech. So you have to pick your core message. What message do you really want to give to your audience? There are two objectives of speech writing. One is making a good impression when you want to impress yourself, when you want to impress to others from yourself, then you give speeches. And you want leaving your audience with two or three takeaways. That should be your major objective. When your audience leave the premises, they must have some kind of thoughts in their mind that yes, we have heard something new or something relevant, which is important for us. And that your speech must have in order to make that work for the audience. Pick a format and stick to it. Whatever format you are choosing, pick it and stick to it. Don't go here and there. Don't mess with too many kind of things. Don't give a speech on every topic in one day. So you have to pick a format and stick to it. That's a very important thing. Do not bounce around, as I've already told you. Stick on the point. Do not go everywhere. Do not try to include everything. Write the speech as you would talk. Don't write the speech as a lecture. Make it a script. Like what you will talk, when will you take the pause, when you will raise a question for the audience, how much time the audience can take for answering that question. Keep everything in your mind and then prepare your speech like you are talking to them, that your audience are in front of you and you are making a conversation with them. Don't write the speech just like you are just going to go and stand and talk. Don't do like that. Add informations that makes your personable and credible, but don't let it drag you down. So you have to have a personal touch on the speech, like you are collecting informations from various sources, but at the end of the time, at the end of the point, you have to have your own idea also. You have to throw your own idea also about the things. You have to make some suggestions also if you are raising some issues. Don't only come with the problems. Don't worry about writing things down the right way the first time. It's not necessary that you will always be a very good writer in your first attempt itself. So don't worry about it. You can make mistakes. There is no issue about it. Just try to improve and understand where you are lagging behind. Write a takeaway line for the audience. That's very important. On how you are going to make an impact on them, you have to understand it and what thing can really trigger them to make them effective. So you have to make a takeaway line or a punch line, you can say. That's really important. Repeat keywords and points. Whatever point you want to focus, just keep repeating it after a certain period of time so that the audience can have their attention on it. They can grab it. They can get it what you want to tell. That these things. Then how you are going to execute your speech. So sound prepare in terms of confidence. You have to be confident while preparing and how you are going to sound. That's also very important. So rehearse. That is an important element. Be authoritative in terms of giving information. When you are giving once you have collected the information from various sources, just be those information should be authentic and you have to be confident that yes, you are giving the right information, and it has to be in certain, like it's not by declaring, by writing it, you can't say that yes, this is very correct thing in your word. When you are delivering the speech, you have to be confident enough that you can make sure that your audience can make sure that yes, whatever you are telling is right. There are so many speakers, there are so many good speakers who sometimes they don't say the correct thing, but still we believe them because of the confidence they are showing to us. And that is very important for a speaker, that you have to have a confidence on your own self, and then only you will be able to make others believe what you are believing in. So be authoritative. Be clear in terms of the ideas you are throwing. Whatever ideas you are going to throw to your audience, you have to be first very clear about it. It's not possible that you have just written few things from here and there and you have just mug up it and you are memorizing it and telling it to the audience. Your audience need not to be always a one or two class students. They can be mature persons. So you have to have a clear idea about your topic, because if you are giving a speech and that is in a conversation mode, your audience might raise some questions in front of you, and at that point of time you need to make them clear what your ideas are about. So you have to be clear for first, then only you will be able to make them clearer. So be selective in terms of the words you are using. Don't use too many things, don't use too many jargons, because if you use too many things you will be questioned. So better to select what you are going to talk. Know your audience. It's very important to whom, in front of whom you are going to give the speech, whether it's a formal place or an informal place. Can you use jargon, or do you have to explain technical concepts? Suppose you are using some jargon related to some specific kind of fields. Then, if the audience belongs to that field, they might understand, but there may be some audience or there may be some person who are not able to understand your jargon. So before choosing them, just be clear and sure that your audience knows it. Make sure you know how much time you have and stick to it. Don't give too long lectures. It's really boring and nobody is interested in listening to long things. So be clear about it. So let's see some tips. Repetition and practice is key. You have to keep repeating, keep practicing. Record yourself and play it back. It will be a good session for you to listen to your own self, how you are heard. That's important. Use simple words and short sentences. That is the best way. Don't use too long sentences. Don't use too complex sentences, which won't be make any sense. So be clear, be careful actually. Use words you can pronounce. Sometimes we just choose fantasizing words and we are not able to pronounce it well or correct. So that is not good idea. That is not a good idea at all. Try to be correct. Try to use the words which you really can pronounce and which you are good on it. So for that you have to keep reading so that you can enhance your vocabulary. You have to keep practicing it. That's very important. Mistakes are not as apparent as they seem. It's not necessary that whatever you are if you are making a mistake for your first time and you will keep repeating it, it doesn't look, it's not necessary. Don't make it a big deal out of it. You are a human being and you can do mistake. You can make a mistake. It's okay, but the point is how you are overcoming from those mistakes. That is the key element. Is there any format? Yes, there are formats, and there are three parts of Indian speech: introduction, body, close. So, address how you are going to introduce your speech. So, address your guest audience with warm greeting and respect. Introduce yourself to the audience. Inaugurate your speech with either with the quotes of some great people or with a self-made quotations if you are able, if you are good on it and made your own self. Introduce the basic idea of your topic in the first 2 minutes itself. Just everything should be done within the time period. So these are the few things which you can use in introduction. What is there in the body? So the body will include your thoughts about the topic, the detailed analysis or facts collected about the topic, your own perception or idea about the topic, and give detailed deliberations about the topic, connecting it with the local issues. If you are talking about any issues, then connect it with the local area also. Then only people can relate with it. So for that, it is very important. First, you have to have gathered lots of information and comprehend it and make it useful for your audience, and try to incorporate all the local things so that it can be effective for the audience. Try to, how will you end, how will you conclude your speech? So in this, try to present a summary of whole idea at the end of with one or two lines, what you exactly or what you actually want to say. Like, there must be a takeaway from your speech, so that has to be there within one or two lines. Summarize the topic with relevant solution of the discussed issue. It's never leave the topic with the problems. It's not good. Always have one or two suggestion at least, or you can even ask your audience for the suggestions. You can make it open ended for discussion for your audience to do. So that's good. good, but always try to be conclude on the positive note with a solution. Put forth your justification for the suggestions you are giving about the issues. That is also very important. That you have to be logical. You have to be rational about what you are giving as a suggestion. You can't give the things which are not possible to do. Those kind of suggestions are not valuable. So don't give those vague suggestions. Generalize the speech with giving an ending note through a quote which is related to the topic. So generalize the speech. Don't make it specific or pinpoint it to some one particular person or one particular area or one particular thing. Generalize it and use some quotation at the end too. So this will be a good way to end.